Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a detailed review on the Air Jordan 11 Low IE Bred. To start things off, if you do like the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. Then I'll also be leaving a link to the SNBPH Sneaker Hunters Facebook group in the description box, so I do hope you can join us over there because that is a place where we talk about sneakers and basketball quite a bit, and it's also where we have the SNBPH Steel Cabinet, where I take some shoes that I no longer use, or some shoes I've reviewed in the past, and put them up for bidding at way below market value. Then if you haven't already, please do make sure to sub to the channel because it really does help us out quite a lot. So with that being said, let's take a look at the 2021 retro of the Air Jordan 11 Low IE Bred. This Jordan 11 Low in the Bred colorway was actually one of the original Jordan 11s to release in 1996, and it was also a pair that Michael Jordan used on court. These Jordan 11 Low IEs were never really as popular as the high cut with the patent leather, and even just looking back a couple of years ago, these were actually just sitting on shelves, and I think would even go on sale or go to the outlets. It is one of those OG Jordan colorways though, and if you are a true OG head or a true Jordan fan, then this in my opinion is definitely something that you should have in your collection. Like I said, these did actually release in 1996, and there was another colorway of the Jordan 11 Lows, and that would be the Cobalt, and those haven't been retroed in a pretty long time, so I'm definitely hoping that this Jordan 11 Low Bred is a sign that we're gonna get the Cobalts in the future. Oh, and while we're on that topic, we did already get these ones. We had the Space Jams, the Concords, and the Breds, so really all we're lacking are those Cobalt Lows, as well as the Legend Blue or Columbia Highs. And then going back to this shoe in particular, I was kind of surprised that there was a little bit more fanfare this time around, and maybe that's just because of the sneaker culture we have right now where if it's a Jordan then it's gonna have some hype to it, but I just really remember a lot of people just sleeping on the IE Lows in every colorway, whether it's an OG colorway or a new one, but who knows, maybe a lot more people will get them, and I really think it's a good buy because for one, the retro that they did on the Jordan 11 Low is pretty accurate. I mean, there always is gonna be a discrepancy, and there definitely is with this shoe, but I do think they did get it pretty close to the OG. And second, in terms of just the overall playability, I'd much rather play basketball in the Jordan 11 Low IE instead of the high-cut patent leather Jordan 11s. I mean, of course, both the Jordan 11 Low and the High do share similar tooling, but the uppers on both shoes are just vastly different. I know the Jordan 11 High does have the more classy and the more stylish upper, but when it comes to taking it out on court, I definitely take the Jordan 11 Low IE. Now to see why I'd much rather play in the lows, let's look at the tech specs. So starting off with the traction, it is pretty much the same as the highs because you have that same full-length translucent rubber and your solid herringbone pods in the forefoot and the heel. The traction on the Jordan 11 in general just works really well, and with the Low IE, it is no different. I was just trying these out here at home, and I did also try them in store when I picked these up, and they just bite really hard, so whether you're taking these out on the court or on the blacktop, or maybe even just using these for casually just walking around, you're not gonna have any issues. Then the Jordan 11 was made in the mid-90s, so this outsole is actually pretty sturdy, and it will definitely be able to take a beating. Then moving on to the cushion, just like the traction, it's pretty much the same as the highs because you do have a full-length Phylon midsole with a full-length air unit inside. You don't really feel an abundance of cushion, especially if you try these on for the first time, but once you do start breaking these in and once you start seeing those compression lines on the Phylon, it will definitely feel way more comfy. I know it does use full-length air and it doesn't have zoom like the Jordan 12s or the 13s and 14s, but in my opinion, the air unit in the Jordan 11 is actually one of my favorites of all time. It's definitely way more comfy than the other Nike shoes at the time, which had like visible air like the Air More Uptempo, and instead what you get with the Jordan 11s is actually a pretty low to the ground ride with a bit of bounce back and some pretty good impact protection. Of course, the air inside is not going to be as springy as Nike Zoom, but it is pretty smooth and pretty comfy, and overall it's still a cushion setup that I enjoy. But like I said a while ago, you just have to break these in a little bit for you to feel the full effect of the cushion because you still have that carbon fiber shank plate that goes from the forefoot to the heel. Then moving on to the materials, this is the greatest difference between the Jordan 11 Low IE and the Jordan 11 High. There are also now Jordan 11 Lows that have that patent leather, but back in 1996 this was the actual Jordan 11 Low, and I guess it really did just catch people off guard because normally when you say that something's a low, you kind of just chop the color off, but with the Jordan 11 Low in 1996, they pretty much just changed up the entire upper. So for the Jordan 11 Low IE, you do have an almost entirely leather upper, but you also have this thick rand of nubuck or maybe short-haired suede that wraps all the way around the shoe. Then you also have these cutouts here on the lateral and medial side of the shoe where you have some open-celled mesh. This does actually kind of reduce the weight of the shoe, and that's one thing that you will notice right away if you're used to wearing the highs, is that the Jordan 11 Low IE is actually significantly lighter on foot. Those cutouts also add a lot of ventilation, and I really appreciate that because, you know, for the most part, Jordans like from the 1 to the 14 aren't really that breathable. Then like I said, you do have an all-leather upper, however there are some textural differences in the panels. Like here on the forefoot, it does have a sort of stiffer leather that also is a bit more smooth. And then for the midfoot and ankle, you do have this ribbed leather that also has this more tumbled look and feel. Then for the tongue, you do have some mix of leathers and textile, and on the top of the tongue, you have some more tumbled leather. Then for the sock liner, you do have a fuzzy textile and it is adequately padded. And then lastly, you do have some thin rope laces. These laces are also quite different from the Jordan 11 High because the highs have these really thick rope laces, while the Jordan 11 Low IE has much thinner laces, which are pretty similar to the laces you can find on the Jordan 12 and the 13. Overall, the materials are really nice though. I really like that nubuck and it is a pretty thick cut. And I also like the plushness of the leather on the midfoot and ankle. And my only real issue is that the leather on the toe is kind of similar to the leather that we have on the Jordan 13's toe. And I just really wish this was softer and also less boxy. Then speaking of that boxy toe, for fit and sizing, I did go through to size. And I am pretty torn whether I should have gone through to size or down half a size. Through to size does fit me pretty well, but given that boxy toe, it does feel a little bit roomy in the forefoot, which does make me feel like I could have gone down half a size to a 9.5 just to make sure that my toes fill up that space. So for my recommendation on the sizing, if you do have a narrow foot, you can go down half a size, and if you have a wide foot, you can go through to size. Then if you have a normal width foot, you can either go down half a size or through to size, and it really just depends on the kind of fit you like. If you like that snug 1-to-1 fit and you really want to fill out that toe space, you can go down half a size. But if you want a little bit more wiggle room, you can go through to size. I'm actually okay that I go through to size because there isn't any pinching or, you know, I'm not gonna kill any of my toenails. So I might just end up keeping my size 10 pair because in the end I still do think it fits me pretty well. Then moving on to the aesthetic details, the Jordan 11 Low IE in the Bred colorway is just pretty simple. It's mostly black with a bit of red for that Chicago Bulls punch and a bit of white. For the outsole, you do have your red herringbone pods in the forefoot and the heel, and then going full length, you do have that translucent rubber. One thing that makes this 2021 retro really nice is that they got the translucent rubber correct, because this does look much closer to the 1996 pair compared to the other past retros of this shoe. Then underneath that, you do have your carbon fiber shank plate, which has that sort of checkerboard pattern in red and black. Then you have a white Jumpman here at the midfoot. Moving on to the midsole, you do have some of that translucent rubber coming up, and then you have a white Phylon midsole. Then moving on to the upper, it is mostly black. I mean, it is from the nubuck to the mesh on the cutouts, to the tongue, and to the laces. But you also do have your hits of red here on the sock liner, and that Jumpman here on the tongue. It is definitely not a colorway that's gonna wow anyone, but it's simple, it's clean, and it's classic. Then for the overall aesthetics, I'm not gonna lie, even though I'd much rather play basketball in these, I'd definitely pick the Jordan 11 highs for just talking about style. The Jordan 11 has definitely transitioned into more of a lifestyle sneaker, and I can't really blame anyone if they don't take their Jordan 11 highs on court, because it's definitely such a beautiful shoe, especially when you keep it fresh and clean. The Jordan 11 Low IE, however, doesn't have that same off-court appeal, but I think it does look really good, especially on court. In my opinion, it does look way more like a basketball shoe compared to the high-cut Jordan 11s. I mean, you don't have that patent leather that goes all the way around, and in my experience, that patent leather, when you take those out on court, it's easily scratched and it can easily look super worn. But with the Jordan 11 IEs, you don't have that problem because you have more durable materials with these leathers and nubucks. So it's definitely a more rugged looking Jordan 11 and something that just has a more performance driven look in my opinion. So for the overall aesthetics, I know it's not as nice as the Jordan 11 highs, but when it comes to on-court use in terms of the performance and how it looks on court, I just really think you can't go wrong with the Jordan 11 Low IE. Then for the price, the Jordan 11 Low IE retails for 8,545 pesos here in the Philippines or $170 US. it is definitely quite a bit cheaper than your normal Jordan 11s, and given that this is an OG colorway and a Bred colorway at that, I think it's definitely a good deal. I mean, just think about it, the Bred colorway for the low is $170, while the Bred colorway for the high that released in 2019 was $220. Of course, the high-cut Jordan 11 Bred is the more iconic one because that's when he won his championship, but Jordan did also wear these throughout the 1996 season, so it's definitely pretty iconic in its own right. Then I'd like to give a big thanks to Nike Park because they did have the raffle on these pretty early, and I did pick up my pair from Nike in Glorieta 4, and I really didn't have any issues and the transaction was just super quick. So once again, big thank you to Nike Park. So there you have it guys, that was my detailed review on the Air Jordan 11 Low IE Bred. Once again, if you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you haven't already yet, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon for notifications. And as always, whether you're looking for that retail W or if you're trying to get that steal from the resale market, just keep on hunting.